Pappy. It's Gamba time. Let's go. Place your bets on who you think will take the series. Best of luck in the chat. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Ghost River, we have the South Korean Terran player, the blue Terran representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Protoss player from the land of Canada representing Team Basilisk, living in the land of South Korea. It is Trigger. For those that are unaware, Trigger, he has been in Korea for the past, 4 months? It's been a while. I want to say 3 to 4 months. Trigger has been residing in Korea, has been practicing, has been improving, has been getting so damn good at StarCraft. He's been peaking here towards the end of the 2024 year, and it's been great to see his rate of improvement. We have seen Trigger take it to players like ByuN before, especially in most recent weeks. We'll see if he can do it again. So now Trigger just being as annoying as possible. Tasing away at that SC. Oh, doesn't get it. Trigger gets punished instead. Oh my god, the SCV survives, probe goes down, and with that, ByuN takes a nice little lead here in the early game. Double gas open out of ByuN, going for a Rex into a factory. Delayed CC by ByuN, and Trigger is going to be a little bit more in the dark here than usual, as ideally would have liked to have seen the follow-up tech. The follow-up tech structure, just to ensure that there was no fast expansion. Reaper is on the way. And Trigger is going to be in the dark. Is going to be in the dark. There's that factory in production. Again, double gas leads into a faster factory. This can lead into a committed Widowmine drop. This can lead into a Cyclone drop, into Hellion, and even a Hellion drop here if there was a SCV out of the map for a proxy starport. There are options here for ByuN. Even Reaper Hellion aggression as well. So we'll keep an eye on him. For now, you can see the Reaper scouting, checking for proxy gateways. Making sure nothing weird is going on. And it's looking quite safe and secure. There we go, there's that natural base. Ooh, and it's not going to be the Widowmine, it is going to be the Hellion instead. Okay. You have my attention. Meanwhile, we have the tech of choice for Trigger. He is not going for Stargate, going for a Twilight Council back at home. This makes sense on Ghost River. Again, Ghost River is one of the smallest maps in the map pool. Very short rush distance by ground. Because of that, I mean, aggression is favored, and getting to a Stargate opener is quite greedy. It's a very greedy way to play TvP, and you can get away, or I should say that Stargate openers are very common on larger maps, larger, more macro maps. On a smaller map like this, Twilight Council makes sense. Twilight Council into Blink. Oh, my apologies. I should also fix up the nameplate. There we go. Again, ByuN and Trigger. ByuN does poke in. Gets the adept, busts into the mineral line. But the Hellion does go down, and Trigger, he should defend without losing too much. A little bit delayed there with that Stalker when it comes to the reaction, but oh. The Reaper takes a lot of hits, and the Reaper does go down. Oh, by the probe! The probe's got, it has one kill. Let's go. The one Reaper kill here on the worker. Smashes on there by Trigger. Does defend. ByuN moving up with his own Widowmine drop. He is moving out with a mine drop. I mean, we spoke about the potential here with the 1-1-1, and it is going to be for the eventual mine drop here into the main. Doesn't find a way in yet. Still rotating. Looking for any kind of dive potential. Goes into the natural. Trigger, he does pull away in time. Does pull away in time. One probe goes down for a Widowmine. Not quite worth it for ByuN. But at least it does deny some mining time at least. As ByuN is going to be cornered, and Trigger, he does take extra gases here before expanding, and that is going to be for a faster Bay. So Bay into a Forge, it's going to be for faster Colossus production. Very safe play here from Trigger. Opting to tech up and get into Colossus before expanding. Oh, ooh, meanwhile, ByuN did a Rixon with that starport, has to bring it back. To bring it back, getting into his 2-1-1. Sorry, 3-1 on setup. 3 Axes, 1 factory, 1 starport. Army is set, and from here we can settle it. Trigger's probes are brutal. They are. They're built a little bit different here. A little bit. As Colossus production has begun, Trigger, he does spot the move out. He's aware, and ideally Trigger wants to slow this down. Speaking of, Stalkers here to engage. Oh! Going for the tank. 1 Stalker, 2 Stalkers go down. Oh, a bit of miscontrol there by Trigger. Does blink a little bit too late. Again, that should not have happened. Tanks to do siege. Trigger buying time. Colossus does pop out. And Trigger is ready. Ideally, he also waits for the unsiege. There it is! Oh, doesn't quite get the mana back. Not quite. Same time, 4 probes going down. Imagine mind drop. Yep, coming back in. Nice snipe here in the observer. Faden behind the natural, behind the main. There you go back in. Decent Colossus swipes here, but the tanks are slowly pushing forward. They're getting within range of the Nexus. It's the goal here for ByuN to get within range to force a cancel on the 3rd. And Trigger, he's leading out too much. Yeah, the 3rd base is going to be denied. And massive tank bullies. Marauders as well. Diving on the Colossus. Colossus up. Oh my god, barely goes down. Colossus falls. Massive tank bullies on the Immortal. We just see Trigger desperately trying to hold on. Gets one of the tanks. Oh, points a mine shot. Trigger, he's holding on. Cleans up all the Marines. Takes down the final tank. Not bad. Trigger holds. Whew. Trigger, he holds onto the 3rd base. It barely survives. Likewise, the Colossus as well. One of them did go down. Meanwhile, auto harass into the main. Trigger, he does pull away in time. Does pull back. Trigger not gaining map control. Still heavily down in economy as ByuN has his 3rd base fully saturated. So it's still an uphill battle here for Trigger. But at least he's still in this. Still in this. Trigger's trying to build up. ByuN behind this, getting to his own Vikings. Ghost production as well. Pokes in. Nice force field. Trigger, he does catch both Widow Mines. So a bad trade here by Trigger. You can see Trigger also getting ready for a Zealot run by. Once ByuN commits, Trigger can as well. We're just keeping up. Ghost production has begun. Vikings are amassing here for ByuN as well. It's making 3 ghosts at a time. Catches the observer. And from here, the game is going to slow down for a moment. Both players building up. Trigger getting to a 2nd rover that could be assigned here of either Immortal or Disruptive production. One or the other. We'll see which. I mean, hey, we're on the current patch, so Disruptors, they still one-shot Marauders, true. Still have a lot of value. For now, getting into Immortals. ByuN so quick to shut down those observers. ByuN is about to max out. He has how many ghosts? 6. Jesus. 6 ghosts for ByuN. Trigger likewise also rotating. Keep up. EMP does connect. ByuN pulling away. Doesn't commit. And again, this is giving Trigger the opportunity to build up his own army as well. Despite being down in supply, Trigger, he is catching up. Still embracing Mass Immortal. No disruptors yet. Jesus, how many immortals is he gonna have? He's got 5. He's gonna have 7. Oh my god. 7 immortals. As both armies are posturing. ByuN is maxed, but again, Trigger, he's catching up. And stimming in, trying to trade so far. Nice mix here from Trigger. He does respond with most of his army. Coming in with his 7 immortals. Let's go. Nice catch. Shaving off some Marauders. Oh, a bit of friendly fire there out of Trigger, killing his own Colossus there. Jesus. Don't think that was intentional. But Trigger, calm down. Down to 1. Vikings to your hand, they shut down the Colossus. The Immortal Army trading well here against the Marauders. Oh. Out more Vikings, knocking down the rooks. Trigger, he has the concave, he's pushing in. Vikings force to land. Decent EMPs. And the EMPs, they shut down the Immortals. That's 2, 3, 4 Immortals going down, and ByuN can just stim and win. He shuts down the entire army. I mean, this is what happens when there's no Storm, there's no Disruptors, no Colossus, no splash damage. ByuN, he snowballs out of control. 11 SCVs may have gone down, but ByuN, he takes the fight, and he can just keep pushing. He can send it. Can't just move out. Trigger trying to desperation hold here with Zealots, with Stalkers. 1 Colossus has arrived, but it shouldn't be enough. Oh, they're still Vikings. They can just lift. Can't just lift up once again. Zealot's going to be engaging. The last Immortals, they can hold their own. GG gets called, and ByuN is going to take game number 1. GG. GG well played. A very interesting composition here out of Trigger. As a reminder, he was able to somewhat max out himself, but if you remember Trigger, he was delving into mass Immortal instead. Into a more hefty Immortal army instead of any Disruptors, and I mean, Immortals, they can do okay, like in a head-on fight, but as we saw, the EMPs were brutal, and alas, it was just a really rough fight there for Trigger. As he lost everything. I mean, the EMPs, they blanketed the entire army, and the Immortals, they just evaporated. And now we're getting into game number 2. I mean, again, this more Immortal heavy composition, it can definitely work well. But a lot of it comes down to the angle of attack. It comes down to whether you can avoid those EMPs. in a head-on fight like that, you saw Trigger just completely melt and fall apart. But now we're getting into game number 2. And from here, I'm sure we'll have a very different approach. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of side Delta, we have the South Korean Terran player, the Blue Terran, leading the series 1-0. It is ByuN. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the Canadian Protoss player, the Basilisk Protoss. Down in the series, we'll see if he bounce back. It is a Trigger. Here we go. So an interesting dynamic there in that first game between Trigger and ByuN. Meanwhile, the probe has arrived, and we are setting up a proxy pylon. Let's go! Pylon has been placed. Trigger is getting ready to lay siege upon ByuN, going for the gateways, going for the earlier gateway aggression. I would imagine Zealots with adepts reinforcing from across the map. The first gate is on the way. And we commit to the second gate, okay. Let's go. Why stop at 2? Show us the third gateway. Show us. Make a flower. Probe is coming in for a scout. Just gonna be 2 gates. Meanwhile, once again, ByuN opening up double gas. Double gas opener, which means racks into factory on the high ground. Very safe play here at ByuN. And Trigger does confirm. Kind of, actually. Trigger, he was denied entry into the main, so Trigger, he's in the dark as to what's going on. Technically, there could be a CC on the high ground. True. Could happen. Reaper scouts. Reaper confirms. Sees both gateways. Bunkers on the way. ByuN is getting ready. He is gearing up for the defense. I believe the Zealots were cancelled. Yeah, the Zealots were cancelled, and now we have Stalkers on the way instead. Trigger recognizing that the Zealots just really get much done. So ByuN moving out. That does hit the main. Threads the mineral line. Shield batteries ready. Trigger in position. Trigger defends. Tech of choice. Twilight Council once again. Something like a Stargate opener. I would say it has value here, and it would make sense on a map like Side Delta, but alas, Trigger just committing here to just something a little bit safer, something more well-rounded. Oh, one probe goes down. Reaper does fall though. Better trade for Trigger. Just the one not worker for a Reaper. See Trigger moving out. So his gateways are still powered. Bear that in mind. they're still up there. Reinforcing with Stalkers. Wasn't really able to do too much damage initially, but likewise, ByuN didn't overreact either. Sure, he made a bunker, but the bunker can always be salvaged, and natural waste is now being taken. And Trigger, he does poke in. Blink. Ooh, tank volley going off. Again, it did feel like after he got scouted, basically he kind of let up. Can still reinforce though. And we will soon have those Blink Stalkers. Blink is almost halfway done. Okay. Well, tanks are building up, focusing on ByuN's opener. He did open up 1-1-1 into Banshee, actually. Banshee moving out to harass, while Trigger does take a third. horizon. Trigger still reinforcing, hoping to delay the move out. But this also means that Trigger has nothing at home. So far, no Stalkers to the natural, no Stalkers to the main. The Warpin's on cooldown, probes are going down. Trigger's in trouble, there's the recall. Does recall in time. He's eventually pinned. Finally, ByuN breaks out. Powers the gateways. And now we're headed towards a longer game state. Trigger the first to take a third. Getting to charge though. It's no major splash damage yet here, as there are no gases taken at the natural. So no bane to fast Colossus or fast disruptors. ByuN is moving out. He's spotted by the observer. ByuN pulls away. Blackbear still being chased by the observer. Once again, hoping to try to catch a tank if at all possible. Speaking of, going for the tank. Going for the Raven. A little bit of split attention there. One tank goes down. Second tank barely does survive. Trigger rotates over. Observer does fly too close to the Raven. Oh! Catching a medevac. Not bad. So medevac just ensures that there is no expansion. I mean, we can confirm that the third base is heavily delayed here for ByuN. Third base just now beginning at the 720 mark. He's pushing. As he moves out, we do have the Stalkers moving in. With the reinforcements. Forces back at home. ByuN will hold, forcing a recall even. And ByuN is in the driver's seat. He now moves out across the map. Sieging up deep. How's the gateways? Do have a surround coming in though? And Trigger, he comes in from behind, takes down every tank, or at least he tries to. One tank falls, only the one. Barely the second tank goes down. Overcharge gets popped. And Trigger's holding. He's barely holding on this. I say that, does LZ go down? The boys are being pulled. And already so much damage. 11 now up to 13. 14 probes going down. And it looks like ByuN may have just done it. Yeah, ByuN may have just broken the back of Trigger. Just barely. 19 probe kills. Aye. Banshee still popping off. Banshee goes down. Nice control there from Trigger. And ByuN's not done. He's going to be pulling Trigger apart. Double drop into the main. Herb's trying to keep up. Denying +1. Forge goes down. Trigger desperately trying to hold on here. Will force back this drop. Oh my elbow, oh god, I spoke too soon. Will force back the drop. I mean, the full medevac goes down. I see it up here at a Trigger. Making the best out of a bad situation. But ByuN has double the economy, double the worker count, plus mules. Is looking solid. The onus is on Trigger here to try to bounce back in some way. Zealot warp into the main, Zealot run by at the third base, DTs into either expansion, something. The prison's moving out. The mines are going to be spent here. The mines are spent. Trigger pushing forward. I mean, the first Colossus has arrived. Let's go. Bouncing on the army. Warping into the main. SCVs are going down. So far so good. Zealots, they hit the third base as well. 8 SCV kills. ByuN getting pulled apart a little bit here, up to 11 SCVs. Main army pushes in. That's force field. Boys are being pulled into Zealots. Colossus sights going up with the road as they hunt down the Colossus. Still a massive pickup here in favor of ByuN. And despite losing 16 SCVs and there's still Zealots in the main base, ByuN still has a massive worker advantage. GG gets called, shuts down the army. Trigger was completely all in, and ByuN will take the series 2-0. GG. GG, well played, ByuN. Again, he was in the driver's seat. He had just achieved so much damage early on, able to shut down the main army, the Stalkers, the Colossus, and never really let go from there. Trigger was trying to stabilize, but as I did mention, he had potential with the Zealot run-bys. He was getting some SCVs, but he needed more than just a handful of SCVs. He needed much more value, much more damage. Did not get them. GG. GG, well played. ByuN does advance on into the next round, and the question becomes, where does he take us? Oh my, as we have an update in the chat. Oh my god, the updates are crazy. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look back yourselves.